Hello guys, and welcome to another plan with me. We're planning the week of the 20th through the 26th of May. This is the week that Andrea and I were at BGG Spring, which is a super fun board game conference in Dallas. And we are just gonna jump right into it. The kit I'm using doesn't really make much sense, and honestly, given what we did, it still doesn't make much sense. When we had planned the trip, we had talked about like going to a bunch of board game stores, or not board game, bookstores, but then we kind of did that when we went to Dallas with Kane. But I already had planned to use this kit, so I just went along with it. And it is the booked kit from SPC. This is a reformat of a mystery from the year prior. This is so cute. I am obsessed, obsessed, obsessed. Oh, so good. And then I am going to be using the Book Lovers foil bundle that was a collab bundle that me and Andre did. It's no longer available in the shop. Oh, I do have the extra boxes here, here, and here. But so you gotta make sure you're following so you don't miss any limited time offerings, which this was one of them, and I'm using it in black foil. And we are just gonna get right on into it because there's tons to talk about. There is gonna be a lot of board game talk in this video, so if you don't like that, I do apologize, but that's pretty much what my weekend consisted of. So, or the second half of my week more so. So how many boxes do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm only going to be using 8 boxes because I'm not using full boxes on some days. So I have 2 scenes I want to use. So that's 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to use that as 7. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Cool beans. Let us just jump on into it. So Monday, I didn't leave till Thursday. So the first half of the week was fairly normal. Monday, I was still kind of like going through it mentally this week, but Monday I was just really tired, so I slept in. I feel like I sleep to avoid dealing with life. Hee hee. Toxic, but it's just true. So I was really sleepy, so I slept in, and then when I got up, Chris and I went to do a post office drop. I didn't really work too much this week. But we got groceries. I came home and I did laundry, and I was like, you know, sad girl, because that's just how it be. And then I was reading, what's that called? What was it? It was like the one that's in the Running Wild, maybe? Yeah, Running Wild. It was the last one in the Simple Wild series. It ended up being pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. But I was reading that. And then Chris and I did watch some Dimension 20. Tuesday was actually me and Chris's 2-year wedding anniversary. I'm going to use these Oops days of the week from my shop in Font Choice 5. Gotta use them up. Makes it less wasteful if I just use it myself. And it's just the Wednesday that looks kind of bad, but hey, it is what it is. Then I'm going to use the holes that came in the shop and the date numbers and stuff, and all the scripts that I use are going to be in Font Choice 7, which is like the typewriter font. Yeah. Where are the numbers? Here we are. So, yeah. So Tuesday was our anniversary, like I just said. So cute. These are kind of off cut, but hey. This is another thing I grabbed from the Oops bin because I was like being lazy and not wanting to cut things. You know, so here's where we are. 24, 25, and 26. So we went on a little lunch date. We went and got Cabo Bob's because that's our fave. And then we went to Barnes & Noble. We didn't buy anything. We just like did some window shopping, which was cute and fun. And then we got home and I like did this big project because we decided we're gonna like stay here. So I wanted to like move my bookshelf into our bedroom and reorganize. So I went and did that. I like moved everything around. Really was like a whole big thing. And then we ended up getting Panda Express for dinner, and I read I was finishing up that book, and this was the day that like I filmed the intro and got started on filming my Instagram Picks What I Read video. So make sure you're following me over there so you can like vote on the polls. So Wednesday that morning I woke up and I filmed that actually. But I like did the first poll that evening, which was fun. And then so Wednesday I had a YouTube, I had a YouTube binge. I played Planet Zoo like all day, which was really random. And then Chris and I went for a walk. And we played some games together, which was really fun. We played Yawning Portal and Wormspan. And then we went and got Mexican food, because we always like to go on like a little date before I go out of town. We usually get ramen, but it was really, really hot that day, and the thought of eating hot soup while I was already like so roasty toasty sounded horrible. So we didn't do that. And then I talked on the phone with my sister. I talked on the phone with my dad. It's just a real chatty week. Oh, I was gonna use both scenes, but that doesn't really work with this spread, if I'm being honest with you. So I can use this as like not a scene, so I guess that will work out fine. So yeah, I did that, and then I started reading the first book that like won in that poll, which was a book called Adelaide. I'm not gonna like really get into the details because you can go watch that video if you are interested. So Thursday was the big day. It was the day of leaving for BGG Spring. We really didn't know what to expect. Like, from what we read online was just that it was not like Gen Con, and it was definitely not like Gen Con, but not in a bad way. Yeah. Gonna do this and this. And I'm gonna put this here. So, we began our drive to Dallas, and it was so shitty out. It was so rainy and miserable the whole drive. The drive ended up being like almost double the length because the weather was so bad, and also the hotel where the event was at / where we were staying was so weird. It was like at the Dallas airport, and you had to like go on this like weird toll road and get your parking validated. It was like a whole thing, but hey, we made it. That was another reason why we didn't really like leave, and another reason, but we'll get into it. But so we also stopped and like ate inside of a McDonald's on our way there. We just referred to it as our little McDonald's date, which was so yum. Loved it. And then we checked into the hotel. The room was not quite ready, so we had to wait. So we went downstairs and we like got our badges for the convention, and upon arriving you actually got a free game, which was really cool. You like put your hand in this like box and you pulled out a playing card, and based on the playing card you got like a different game. I don't really remember what game I got, if I'm being honest with you. Just something random, but it was still pretty cool to be able to get a free game. And then we immediately went to the library, which had like, I don't know, like over 5,000 games that you could rent out. And there was one game that Andrea had just found out about and like really wanted, but it's a quite expensive game. It's called Food Chain Magnate. So we saw that one in there and we were like, oh my god, yes. But also we were very overly ambitious this day. We only played 2 games, but both of the games were like, so on this website called BGA, it like tells you like the difficulty of a game, and both of the games we played this game were like a 4.5 out of 5. So that was just like a decision, and not a good one. But we played the game. It was very, very, very complicated. And then our room was ready. And we went, checked in, whatever. Then we went downstairs. They had this buffet every night for dinner. It was like a different cuisine. This night was Asian, and it was so funny. Like, we go, and we're like, yeah, 2 for dinner. And she's like, okay, it's going to be like $20 total. And we're like, for 2 people? And she's like, yeah. Andrea's like, is there like a discount? And she's like, no, it's just, this is the price. And we're like, okay. So we pay, and then some guy comes over, and he's like looking at like the girl, and she's like, you left me alone. I don't know what I did, but like, it's your fault 'cause you left me alone. So like, oh wow. And she's like, yeah, it was supposed to be like a different price, but like, we'll just pretend this didn't happen. And we were just like, okay. So it was really funny. And then we went and played Zoo Tycoon, the board game, which is like one of my highlights of playing it because it's a very expensive game. It's like $160 for the game, and I wanted it so bad. I almost late backed it, a whole thing. and we hated it. So I'm really glad, thrilled, happy to have not wasted a shit ton of money on a game I didn't like. So despite the game being a fail and not enjoying it, we're counting that as a win. So that happened, and then we ended up just going back to the room after that. We were like, our brains were fried, but it was so cute. This one guy came up to us when we were playing the game, and he's like, that looks like a game only an accountant could love. And we're like, yeah, like you may be right, because this is hurting our brains very bad. And throughout the rest of the convention, every time he saw us, he'd be like, Zoo Tycoon girls. It was so cute. But yeah, so back to the room. We ended up staying up super late, just chit-chatting. I was reading more of my book, and then, oh my god. So like the fan in the room, like the air conditioning fan, just kept turning on and off, on and off, on and off, which was really annoying. So we had to mark the stupid fan situation. Then, also super annoying, at 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, feel like there was like an alarm clock in our room, just starts going off at 6 o'clock in the morning. That was so annoying. So that happened, then we both went, well, Andrea fell right back to sleep. I was starting to doze back off, and then we must have hit snooze, not off. Then it went off again. She didn't wake up for that one, just I did, and I turned it off. But I was so annoyed. And then we did go get the breakfast buffet that morning, which was pretty good. And then we played this game that I had seen that ended up becoming like our personality of the convention, called Flip Town. It's a flip and write that's like Western themed. And it was so fun. Andrea ended up finding and buying a copy of the game at like a game store that we went to. Like, it was just so fun. But we played it for the first time this day while we were trying to like kill time until one of our events. But we did that, and then we were also waiting for the, what's it called? I think they called it the exhibit hall, which is where like the shopping was. We were waiting for that to open. Whenever that opened, we went in there. It was very small. It was probably like 1/20th of the size of Gen Con. But Andrea found some stuff, and then we got these mystery boxes. So we each got a mystery box, and we went back up to our room to film like a mystery box unboxing. So that was fun. And then we had like tickets, or we had signed up to do these like miniature paintings. We each got like a skeleton archer, as well as we could pick one other thing. We both picked the unicorn, so we both painted our miniatures, and they looked horrible. Andrea may hit y'all with or may say that I should talk for myself, but I'm standing on the fact that they were both bad. Neither of us did good, okay? They weren't good. They looked bad. So we did that, and then it was time for the Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG that we had signed up for. If you don't know, RPG stands for role-playing game. D&D is like the most well-known role-playing game, and we were doing an Avatar: The Last Airbender themed role-playing game. It's like its own separate thing, and I've always wanted to learn how to do it, or like learn the rule set for it, and it was a ton of fun. Me and Andrea both played firebenders, but the funniest thing happened, because like we were a guy and a girl firebender, and we were like, oh my god, our characters are dating, they're lovers, whatever. But we just kept like finishing each other's sentences like throughout the campaign, and there was like these two guys in our group. I think I don't remember their names, but they were like, oh, are you guys sisters? And I thought, and Andrea says she thought this as well, that he was referring to our characters, and I was like, no, we're lovers. Like, very like matter-of-factly, like, no, we're lovers. Like, ugh, don't you know? And he was like, oh, sorry. And then like a few minutes passed, and Andrea's like, wait a second, did you mean our characters? And he was like, yeah. She's like, and we just literally both started cackling. He meant he meant us in real life, not our characters. And I was like so adamantly like, no, we're lovers. Oh my god, I was so embarrassed. Also, when we did the miniature painting, I literally got paint all over my face, just black paint all over my chin. And it looked like I had a beard, and it was embarrassing, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, so so we did the RPG. It was quite fun. The lovers thing happened. And then we went and rented out more games. We played Tokaido Duo because we had played Tokaido the week prior at game night and neither of us really liked it too much. So, and we had heard, or Andrea had heard, that Tokaido Duo was better, so we tried that out. Still didn't really like it, but liked it better. And then I picked out this like roll and write called Walking Through Burano. I picked it out because me and Chris went to Burano when we were in Italy, so I was like, the memes, let's play it. And it was really, really cute. And then, dinner that night was Italian, and it was like the worst Italian food ever. They didn't have any pasta. They only had gnocchi, which if you don't know, gnocchi is not pasta, it's potato. And it was so dry and not good, if I'm being honest with you. Just don't recommend, pretty bad. And then we, after that, just went back to our room and we played one of the games that Andrea had purchased that day when we went to like the exhibition hall or whatever. Yeah, I think that's what, exhibit hall? The exhibit hall. And it was in the That's Pretty Clever family, and this one is like the newest iteration, and it's called Clever Forever. So we played that, and then we read. I'm pretty sure I finished Adelaide this day, and I popped up the poll for what I was going to read next. Saturday, we woke up, and there was this bazaar happening, which was literally, it was crazy. It was like a curated yard sale of just board games, and it was for 1 hour only. And you got there, and we like had just been like kind of like shooting the shit in the room for a while. Like we FaceTimed with the kids. We're just kind of like having a chill morning. Then we're like, okay, we'll head down like 10 minutes before the doors open. We should have headed in, got there down there way earlier because the line was humongo, okay? So you get in there, and they like basically have like a timer going because this is the whole thing. It only lasts an hour for the whole event. And there's people with microphones being like, okay, buyers, there's only one, this is only a 1 hour event. And then like time would pass and they'd be like, there's only 10 minutes left. Buyers, get your things. Sellers, slash those prices. You don't want to bring these things home. Get those deals. Blah, 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 blah. And like then the vendors would be like, or the people selling would be like, everything's 50% off. I don't want to take it home. Buy it, buy it. So we got steals and deals basically. I only picked up one thing, and it was a game called, I think, Lockup. It's from the Role Player family of games, and I love Role Player. And it's usually a $60 game, and I got it for only $30. Then Andrea got a bunch of stuff, but it was so funny because she couldn't get her Venmo to work. She hadn't used it in so long that they wanted her to like re-verify her bank account. But like this event is only an hour long. There is no time for verifying things. So I was just like, oh, like she's just like, I'll PayPal you later. And I'm like, I got you, girl. So she got a bunch of stuff. I got the one game, and it was literal chaos. We literally went through, bought stuff, went back to the room, put everything in the room, and then we came back down and we shopped more because like our hands were so full. They also didn't allow big bags. They didn't allow like strollers or wagons. Like it was crazy, but it was so fun. So we did that. And then we got ready and we left. This was the day that we were leaving because we didn't really have anything on the docket for the day. So we left the hotel and we went to Cindy's, which is like our favorite place to get breakfast in Dallas that we learned about last time we were there. So scrumptious. But we went to Cindy's and then went to a Half Price Books. And then I hit my other planner. I put the two bookstore or game stores in backwards, like the name of them. But then we went to House Rules Games, and so on the way there, Andrea's car is electric, right? And we're like, okay, we need to charge the car because it's not gonna have enough charge to get us back home. And so we're like, okay, whatever. And so like basically all of the charging stations that were like the quick ones were like 40 to 45 minutes away. Nothing was close, and it was gonna be like this big out of the way thing. So we found a closer one, but we know nothing about like, oh, your battery's gonna die. One moment. It's kind of a funny point in time for your battery to die. We're gonna zoom in for the day by day. Okay. So yeah, basically, it's funny for you guys to have your battery die right there while I was talking about having you charge the car battery. But so we find a place to charge the car. We don't really know anything about this, and we don't really know how bad of a decision of a place we picked to charge the car was. Basically, the like, I don't know, like voltage or what was like like 6 as opposed to like 100 or more than 100. Ugh. But basically we did that, and then we ended up paying like $20 in Ubers to get from here to there, all for the car to be like not anymore charged. And then we found like not like a super fast charger, one that instead of charging in like 20 to 30 minutes would charge the car up in like it would charge the car up in like an hour. So we literally just parked, we got out our phones, and we played Ark Nova on our phones, and sat there and waited for the car to be charged, which was literally, it was like fine, but we're like, oh my god, like falling apart trying to figure this stuff out. So we sat in the car, played Ark Nova, and charged the car, and we went to the other game store, which is called Common Ground Games, which was really fun and cute. We actually did not buy anything there, and the only thing that was purchased at the other store, Andrea purchased, and it was a copy of Fliptown. Oh my goodness gracious me, oh my. Basically, she had ordered Fliptown, and when she ordered the game, she ordered it with like the mini expansion, and we looked at it, and we looked at, she pulled up her receipt, and basically to buy it at the store that we were at would end up being like $20 cheaper if she just canceled her other order. So that's simply what she did. Canceled that nonsense, because that's quite a big savings, you know what I'm saying? So canceled that, and we canceled that and picked it up at this store. So we're really excited because we ended up playing it a bunch of times. You know? Trying to get this icon off. Jeez Louise. There we go. So we went there, and then we found this like Italian place that was like right by there, or went to another half price books after actually. And then we went to the Italian restaurant where Andrea got like a steak, and her allergies were really bad this entire trip. But I got like, they called it like world famous Alfredo, and it was like really heavy on the Parmesan flavor. And she tried it, and she's like, it doesn't taste like anything. And I'm like, no, it has like a very strong, distinct Parmesan flavor. Not really sure what's up with you, girlfriend. And so like, she was so congested that she like could not even taste the Alfredo. But yeah, we went there, and then we got back to the event, and we went and rented out more games, which another one we rented out that day was called Sweet Mess, and it's like this baking game. And if you've ever played Splendor, it gave very much Splendor energy, and it was just like fine. There's no other word to describe it other than it was just fine. There was nothing exciting about it. It was another one though that we were basically in the same vein of Ark Nova. I had never really looked into buying Sweet Mess, but I guess Andrea had looked into buying it. And she's like, I'm glad that I played it and I can have an opinion on it and we can review it. She's like, but I don't want to like own that game. So like, I'm glad to have played it and have that information. So that was like one of my favorite things of this convention, is we did find some like really fun games, but then we also got to play games that we thought were gonna be really fun and then like not have wasted our money on them because they were just fine. So it was almost like just as exciting when we only thought something was okay, because we're like, no, we don't need to buy it. You know, so that was always cute and fun. Yeah. So we played Sweet Mess, and then we played a game called Namiji. Basically, we had played Tokaido back home the past weekend, and then we played Tokaido Duo, and then Andrea was like, oh yeah, there's like another game in like this family that they hit blah 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 that apparently has even better reviews than all of the other ones, and that would be Namiji. Inamiji was better. It like definitely like fixed a lot of the issues that we had with Tokaido, but it was like still not like a game that I want to buy. If that makes sense. Like it was still like not good enough to like want to really play again, but like if I was going to play a game like Tokaido, that would be the one that I want to play, if that makes sense. Like it was the least bad of the three, I think, in both of our opinions. So played that, and then we played we played 2 games of this one roll and write called Encore. It's made by the same like people in the same family of the That's Pretty Clever games. Again, not probably one that I like would really care to play like buy, because I like the That's Pretty Clever franchise better, like that set of games, but it was quite fun. I think we each won one, which we love when that happens. Also, this is so funny. So I went through and I looked at like basically all the games we played. I think we played 22 games and plays. 22 plays, and if you're counting the phone game of Arc Nova, which we decided we are counting because it was an hour-long game, we played exactly 22 plays and we each won 11. That's how like close our scores are, always really close and stuff, and it's just like so funny that it ended up being like exactly split. Like, wow. Also, I'm gonna show you the sticker that I'm gonna use to mark me and Chris's 2-year anniversary. Andre got them made for us and for me. Clean couple. Okay. They are stickers of me and Chris, and I just think that they are literally the cutest little things ever. Oh, so cute. So, but yeah, so we played Encore, and then it's usually about this time of the night Andre would be like, so let's just go play something in the room because I'm kind of getting sick of people. And it was like she was reading my mind, because like by the end of the night, it's like one thing to be surrounded by a bunch of people you don't know in these loud convention rooms, but then when you're also trying to like read rule books and stuff and really focus, I was getting very, 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 very overstimulated doing all the things. So basically by the time she would like say that, I was like already also ready to go back to the room and just hang out. So went back to the room and we played more of the games that Andrea had purchased like at the bazaar and stuff. And we played this one game that was called Shake That City, which she had looked at, I guess, a bunch of times at different game stores to like pay full price, and she ended up getting it for only $10, which was wild. We love to see it. With Chris, and then I'm just gonna use this from the foil bundle with me love. So cute. I also told Andrea the wrong script when I sent her my scripts. Like I literally couldn't read my own handwriting. That's why I don't write in my planner with you guys. And I'm actually gonna just use one of the scripts from here because it makes more sense. Yeah, okay, no problem. So yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so we played Shake That City, which was so funny because it like has this weird like thing you had to build that you put the dice in, and then you basically do like a whole magic trick with it. It was crazy. I was like, do it again. I don't get it, do it again. But we played that, and then I think we played just one game of Flip Town afterwards. Flip Town really became like a part of us on this trip. It's one of those games though where I feel like Andrea is gonna play it like a bazillion times like without me. Like her and Nick are gonna play it, and then she'll get like really over it, and then we'll just never play it again. That's what happened with Forest Shuffle whenever we got that at Gen Con. I don't think she's like really played it since last summer. I'm just gonna use this organized TBR because I meant to write move books, but the script says more books, and that's just not gonna work for me. Use this to mark going to grab Panda. But yeah, so did that, and yeah, that was basically everything for that day. And then we will just move right on into Sunday, which is the last day of this like video. Basically, I was running out of little things and boxes at this point, so I was just using like big boxes and putting a bunch of stuff in them because I also messed up and like put a full box on that day, but like I'd already committed to it, so we're just gonna go with it, even though it's gonna look kind of bad if I'm being honest with you. It's just what we're doing, okay? I'm just gonna put all of this stuff in for this day while I'm doing this. So basically, we woke up in the morning and we went down and got the breakfast buffet again. We were at this point, oh, there's so much to talk about on this day, unsure if we were wanting to stay the night that day or if we wanted to just leave that evening and drive home. We ended up staying, but we weren't really sure what the plan was going to be yet. But we got breakfast, and then we had a couple of things we wanted to do that day. There was a charity sale happening, and we had like a RPG that we had signed up for. So we started the day by going down and renting out some games. We first rented out this little card game called Happy Campers, which was like fine. I ended up winning because basically in the game you're like rolling dice, or I think we were rolling dice, I don't know. Yeah, we were rolling dice, and you had to like pick like a shape and like an item out of the things and like put them in your camp, and you had to have at least one of everything or you automatically lost. And Andrea did not have any trees or any parks, I think, at her camp, so she basically had to auto lose, because if you don't have everything you just score 0. So that happened. Yeah, so basically we played that, and then there had been this game that I saw at Common Ground called Skyrise. It was a new game. It had really good reviews. We didn't really know anything about it, and I saw people playing it the day before, and I was like, oh my god, that's that game. And we're like, oh my god, it looks so cool, because like the one there they had was like the super mega deluxe version, and it was so nice. And we saw it because like the way the games are all separated in the library of games is it's like all games are all by ABC order, except for new games have their own wall in ABC order. So we went to the new wall of games and we found it, and I was like, oh my god. She's like, let's play it. It like wasn't a very difficult game, so we were like, yes, we're gonna do this. So we took that one. It's called Skyrise, and it is a bidding game where you're like building a city type thing. And usually bidding games or games with a bidding mechanism have really obnoxious 2-player rules, or are just really not fun at 2 players, and that it's one of those where you can tell that they're only marketing it for 2 players to like sell the game, but not this one. It had super great like 2-player play. Really enjoyed it. Had a great time with that. And then like we would take games out like 2 at a time. So then we finished those 2. That's one that I think is now on Andrea's shopping list to like pick up. She wants like the deluxe version of it. She also ended up backing that Food Chain Magnate game. She wasn't going to because the game is very expensive. It's like a $100+ game, but they were doing late backs for the Kickstarter for like the super mega deluxe version, well including the expansion for like $150, which didn't seem like nearly as bad of a deal. So she ended up backing that, and I am very excited to play it again, because I feel like when we played, there was like parts of the game we just like didn't even do because we were so overwhelmed by what the heck was even going on. So I'm excited to like play it more and like try different strategies. But yeah, so we played this. We went and got more games. We played one that was called Herbaceous something. I don't know. It's got to be on here, the full name. Didn't all fit. Herbaceous. Maybe it was just called Herbaceous. Herbaceous. It was like a planting roll and write, which was fun. Wouldn't buy it, but glad to have played it. And then the charity sale was starting, which was really exciting as well. This was day 2 of the charity sale. We were gonna try to go to it the day before, but then like the whole car thing happened, and it just like simply did not work out, which was like fine. But we now know that we want to prioritize it, because basically it's what the charity sale is that the library where we've been playing all of these like wonderful games this whole convention, they like gotta get new games here and there, so they cycle out old games and then sell them at this charity thing for basically nothing. Literally basically nothing. I think day one all games were just $10, and some of these are like I saw like familiar names. It's like things that they have too many copies of, XYZ. Like, we saw a video on their Instagram of all of the games that were there day one. There was like many Terraforming Mars, which that game is amazing. Do I already own it? Yes, but like for $10, that's like a $60 game. But anywho, so we also weren't given any information upon walking in. Like, there was a girl standing out there, and I think she was like kind of supposed to be like relaying information to people, and she just wasn't. She was not doing her job. So we weren't even told how much stuff was. Turned out everything that day was only $5 each. But evidently there was supposed to be a 5-game limit, but nobody told us that. I only had 4. Andrea had 7. She gave me 1, and then she was just gonna go put 1 back, and they were like, listen, I don't really care. So they let her just get an extra one. She's like, I'm so sorry. And like, we're both like big rule followers. So she was like, I didn't know, like I didn't mean to break the rules. And like, you can buy more, but you can only basically check out 5 games at a time, basically, so that like people who don't get there as early aren't like unable to get anything. You can do 5 and then get back in line and go through again. It's kind of how it operates. But yeah. So we found some pretty good finds at the charity sale. And then, y'all, here we're gonna get into, if you're not really a big fan of bitching and moaning, then skip along. But I'm gonna be bitching and moaning because this is my lived experience of the Labyrinth RPG that we both had a terrible time at, which I'm like sad about because Andrea was so excited about it. Like, she loves the Labyrinth, and I like, when I saw the event, I was like, oh my god, we gotta do it. Like, I don't care if I don't really know anything about the Labyrinth, this will be so fun for you, whatever. She was so excited, and it was such a bad experience. This is like nothing to do with the company, with the GM, which means game master, the person running the show. Nothing against any of them. They did what they could with what they were given, which was not much. They did the best they could with the information at hand, okay? It's basically how we have been referring to the whole situation. So basically, we get there, and it's me and Andrea. There's a guy next to me. He's cool. Don't know anybody's real name. I don't even know anybody's character name, if I'm being honest with you. But I got this guy next to me, and then across from Andrea is like another lady, and then next to her, which is across from me, is her husband, and then next to him is this other dude. Basically, the 2 guys across the table, not the one next to me, sucked. They sucked. The whole first half was like fine. Then we break for lunch and people's personalities start coming out, okay? And also, this was a 4-hour session. I will say one thing I really, really liked is we got like these little like folded like card stocks to like write our names on, our character name and stuff. And on like the side that faced you, there was like a red X, and it said, if you're feeling uncomfortable, and just turn this backwards and like flip it over so that we can see the red X, and we will like reroute the situation away from whatever's making you feel uncomfortable, targeted, whatever. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was very close to doing that during this session. That's how uncomfortable I was. So basically TLDR, but also very long because I don't know how to shut up. We were here, and it starts off with the one guy. He was like, also in the Avatar game, one of the guys was really, really annoying, but now after like this happening, the guy wasn't annoying in comparison, so he's not even annoying anymore. But basically, this one guy's very showboaty and like thinks he knows everything, which is like just kind of annoying. He kept going, everything was, well, I went to film school and I'm a writer, which was annoying, but in retrospect, he was like, whatever. So this other guy, everything he like did, said, everything, he thought that he knew everything there was to know about everything in life, okay? And like, it was like Labyrinth themed, and like, I really don't know much about Labyrinth, so I'm just taking what Andrea says as fact, but like, about the Labyrinth, pretty much believe her. It is not meant to be like a violent thing. In part of it, he like ended up getting like a pizza cutter at like this kitchen area. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take this pizza killer and try to KILL this person. And even the GM's like, okay, I've never had this become violent before, but sure, I guess you can try to do that. Like, she was visibly uncomfortable. And then like, there was this other part where like we had to try and complete these riddle-y type things. Like, she would say something to us, like an insult, and then we would have to like rhyme an insult back. And if it did not rhyme, you got no points. If it rhymed, then you got 1 point. And if it rhymed and it like made sense, she liked it, she was like, dang, that's like a good one, you really got me, then you would get 2 points. So we were going back and forth. Also, his wife was so good at it, and I will just let this start right now. This guy was very, very, very sexist, and he thought that men were the shit and that women sucked, basically. It was like the vibes that he was giving, because the only people he was being rude to was me and Andrea, kind of his wife, and the GM. Any of the males in the room, he was not acting this way to, and that just made the situation even more icky to me. But basically, everything he said, like, he said some sort of riddle that did not make sense, and the GM's like, okay, well, like, it rhymes, so you'll get 1 point. He's like, no, it makes sense. And she's like, no, it doesn't. And he's like, well, I was in the Air Force, and in the Air Force, we always say XYZ, and therefore, it makes sense. And she's like, yeah, I gave you 1 point because it rhymed, but like, I'm not giving you the second point. Basically her being like, yeah, you might think it makes sense, but like, it wasn't funny, and so no, you're only getting 1 point. And honestly, love her to death for like standing her ground, because fuck this guy. And so that was like, whatever. And then basically we're getting towards like the end of the session, which the whole last hour simply becomes hostile. Like, I am uncomfortable, everybody is uncomfortable, nobody is having a good time, okay? So we're getting towards the end of the session, and we are like in this area in the RPG. We're like in the castle trying to find the Goblin King, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know even what any of this means, but I'm just along for the ride. And we're trying to decide what the plan is. And then the guy who's like the misogynistic dude is just like, well, I'm not listening to any of you guys say, I'm just going in. And I don't know where it cut off, but he was making this like big deal about shit that like absolutely did not involve him, and was telling us what we could or could not do. And then another thing with RPGs, like a really big part of them is like, basically, like, if we're all sitting around the same table, we're gonna hear the same information, but like if your characters in game are not in the same room, they don't have the same information. So like, for example, the guy next to me was given information, but misogynistic guy was not in that room. So he did not have that information. And he was like, well, I know it. And we're like, yeah, but you're like not in that room, so you don't like know the information. And he was just like not respecting the basic rules of like an RPG, and I just thought that to be so fucking annoying, so rude, and it was like ruining it for everybody. Honestly, it was so annoying. Like, RPGs have such few rules. RPGs, you're really just kind of like having fun, making stuff up, and like having a hoot and hollering time. But like, he was just like being disrespectful of like the literal basics of an RPG, which was so annoying. And then as we're going on, he's like me and Andrea have basically given up at this point, because like, it doesn't really matter what we want to do or what we say we should do. He tells us that like, no, we're not doing that. And him and the other annoying guy like devolve this like really stupid plan that makes no sense. They're basically like, well, because like we would do a turn and then the Goblin King would do a turn, and the Goblin King would possibly move out of the room that he's in. So all of us, besides Andrea, not because she doesn't want to be in the room that we're in, but because she keeps rolling really poorly and is not ending up in the room that we're in. Like, she can't get in because she keeps rolling bad. So all of us besides her and the like 2 annoying guys are in the right room with like the dude. And the GM's like, okay, are you gonna roll to try to get in here so you guys can get him? And he's literally like, no. And she's like, the GM's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, he's gonna have a chance to move. And mind you, she has at this point already told us that essentially she would have to roll like the highest possible roll for him to leave the room. It's a really hard room for him to leave. She just kept saying that. And they are just going on and on and on and on about how they aren't gonna just leave the room. They're gonna wait or try to get in there. They're just gonna stay in the hallway until the Goblin King ends up rolling to get out of that room, and then we'll all follow him to the hallway and we'll get him there. And I looked at them, I'm like, so what you're saying, even though she literally told us she has to roll a 6 for him to leave, is you're just gonna stay out there and we're just gonna wait? And he's like, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I looked at him, I was like, I'm not doing that because I'm not sitting here all day waiting for her to roll a 6. And the GM looks at me, and you can tell she has just had enough of this situation, and she goes, yeah, well, I'm just gonna pretend that I rolled a 6 because I'm not doing that either. And then she's like, okay, it's over, you did it. And me and Andrea literally just got up and basically ran out of there because we were so uncomfortable. We were like, yeah, thanks, bye. But like, she did the best she could. She was not working with much good. But it was horrible, and I hated it, and I did not have a good time with that. Neither did Andrea. I was really like worried that we were gonna finish and she's gonna be like, wow, that was so fun. But we were like texting each other the whole time, like, oh my god, this is so uncomfortable, I hate it. So I mean, I guess at least we were on the same page of it like not being a vibe. So we did that, and then afterwards we literally just had to like go back to our room and like decompress. We like filmed a vlog while we were there, and we had like filmed like a 20-minute long rant about what happened, and then ended up deleting it because we sounded too bitchy. But it was just really uncomfortable. And it's like wild because I would say literally there was like almost 1,900 people at that convention, and that one guy was the only not pleasant person that I came into contact with in the entire convention. Like, everybody else in the board gaming community is so nice. It's one of the most inviting, kind, loving communities. Like, it's actually so like heartwarming to see. And we are planning on going to the fall version, but it was like so heartwarming. I'm also bringing in a bunch of these gaming icons. So heartwarming to see that like throughout the whole thing, there's like people, there's like these little things you can put up at your table that say like teacher wanted, or it'll like, some say teacher wanted, some say players wanted, and people will just like go up and play with other people. And oh my god, yeah. Is this correct? No, this is supposed to be half price books. I'm falling apart today, you guys. It's been a really long day. Whatever. I don't even care at this point. But people will just go up and help other people and join other people's games. And we do want to, when we go in the fall, make it a point to try to play games with other people. My thing is like, I don't want to like be annoying and like go up and be like, yeah, I'll play with you, but I don't know how to play this game, and you're gonna have to teach me. And then if I like am not getting the instructions and they're like getting annoyed with me, it's like really big anxiety point for me. So we decided that we're gonna do a thing where like we'll approach a table that's playing a game that we already know how to play and play with them. So that is like something we want to do whenever we come for fall. But yeah, it was very heartwarming to see like everybody is just so kind and nice, and that guy was really an outlier, but like it really sucked to have to deal with him and for it to ruin such like an exciting experience for us. And yeah, that was really annoying. But anyhow, so after we went back to the room and decompressed, we went, there was like a, we didn't want, after like the horrible last dinner we had had at the hotel, we did not really want to go again to the buffet for dinner. So we went to there was like a sushi restaurant at the hotel, and they had like Asian food, and like we shared some edamame, and I got like gyoza, and Andrea got like the hot stone where you like cook the meat on it. I don't really know what that's called. And she got like a vegetarian roll, and it was really, really yummy, and it was great. So we did that, and then we were also both kind of like, so I don't really want to go like back to the library. Like I'm kind of like peopled out after that, and we're like, yeah, like we have a million games in the room. Let's just go have like a cute little girly night. And we're like, hell yeah. So we went back to our room and we played a bunch of the games that Andrea had gotten. We played Flip Town. We played like 2 games of Flip Town this day. And then we played Cat Sudoku, and it was something. I don't really know how I feel about it, but she got it for $5. So like it was $5 good, if that makes sense. It might not have been more than $5 good, but it was at least $5 good, you know? So we played that, and then we played this other like little dice game called Dizzle, which was fun. It's really cool. It has like a bunch of different boards that you can play with, which is fun because it gives the game replayability and variety. So that's always nice when games have that. So we played Dizzle, and then we played T-Rex's Holiday, which was, it was funny. It was a funny one. It was like way more tricky than it looked. It was like an imported game from Japan, and it was really fun, really cute, really enjoyed it. Had a great time. Loved it, one may even say. I wouldn't say that I didn't love it, but I liked it, you know. It was fun. So we did that, and then I did end up reading more that night. I had started my new book, which was Home is Where the Bodies Are. It is the one that won my little poll that I had done for the next book, which again, I'm going to get into my details, which I actually just finished it today IRL, and I'm still a little, I got thoughts and feelings, and I'm still feeling them, if you know what I'm saying, currently. So Flip Town is so fun though. Highly, highly, highly recommend. They have like the physical game. They also are coming out with a solo campaign for it, and they also have for $5 the like a printable print and play version of it, because all you need is like a standard set of poker cards, like just regular ass cards. So it's very easy to get your hands on, because you can just do the print and play version. But yeah, overall BGG Spring was so fun. We really didn't know like what to expect or how it was gonna be, how like the people were gonna be, what the vibes were gonna be, and I'd say that it exceeded our expectations in like every possible way. We had such a good time the whole time. We're like, we're definitely coming back, we can't wait, this is great, this is fun, we love it. So I feel like at the end of the day, it was great. We both gave it, I think, an 8 out of 10. We both gave it a 9 out of 10 if that RPG situation didn't happen. But still, even with that happening, it was almost a perfect score because we had so much fun. And yeah, highly, highly recommend if you're in like the gaming space. If you're not in the gaming space, I highly recommend getting into it because, oh my god, I have hair in my mouth. Because simply of how nice everybody is. Like, everybody is just so kind, so nice. Like, anytime we got into like an elevator, like we had our like badges on, and I swear to god, every single person at the hotel was there for the convention. All of the employees were wearing like convention shirts. Like, anytime we got into the elevator with more people from the convention, they were like, oh, you're having fun? And we're like, yeah, are you having fun? And they're like, yeah, I'm having the best time. And we'd just all be like, oh, like, we're having the best time. Do anything fun today? Like, everybody is just so friendly and so nice. And it's just wonderful, honestly, to be surrounded by so many nice, kind people who all love the same thing, which is board games. And yeah, it was overall great time, wonderful time, magical time, and I'm so glad we went. I'm so glad to go to the one in the, excited to go to the one in the fall, because the one in the fall is a bit bigger, not as big as Gen Con, but bigger than that one. So I think that'll be really exciting and fun, and just going to be great. Okay, it's just all great and wonderful, and I love it. I love being part of the board game community, and everybody's just so nice. I just feel like there aren't many like nice people in the world these days, so to be surrounded by that much kindness and welcoming like energy just feels really nice. And it reminds you that, you know, just be a nice person. Being a nice person really does can change people's days and lives. Like anytime that guy came up to us who referred to us as the what's it called, Zoo Tycoon girls, like anytime he came up to us, we're like, he's so nice, he's so sweet, I can't believe he remembered us, like, but yeah, overall it was a great time. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna put my last script in for T-Rex's holiday, and we are done here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let us zoom on out and we will take a peeky poo at the finished spread. Here she is, looking cute. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.